Hi there, and welcome to the next instalment of Music, Painting, Landscape and Me. As I was discussing in my last video, I have started writing in earnest. I've just completed a chapter called Style, Spontaneity and Serendipity, and I'm discussing in that my position, my situatedness within the concepts of style, spontaneity, is it or isn't it, does it or doesn't it, does it exist, if it does, what is it, how do I know it is what I think it is, and talking about serendipity, the ability to be able to find things of value and usefulness out of the actions that I take when I'm creating work, be that painting or composition. But today I thought I'd talk about something slightly different, something personal to do with the landscape itself, and that is my obsession with chalk and chalk scenery. Now, some people may be very familiar with chalk scenery, other people not at all. Basically, it's the white stuff that you get in the landscape, the white cliffs of Dover, chalk downlands, the Sussex Downs, the South Downs, the North Downs, all that sort of thing. And I've been trying to think what it is about that particular kind of landscape that I find so affecting, what it is that moves me. And to try and do this, I was looking at, or thinking back to my earliest memories of my relationships with chalk. And those memories take me back to a time when I lived in London. And although I can't really place why I did what I'm going to tell you, I did it nevertheless. But one day, I remember getting on a train and going from, where it was I got on the train, I can't remember now, but going to a place called Knockholt, I think it is, Knockholt Pound, which is north of Sevenoaks. Because when I'd passed on the train before on that particular journey, there was a chalk cutting, and I was sort of fascinated by this white stuff. So I went purely on the train. As a child, I must have been, I don't know, 12, 13 at the time perhaps, and got out at Knockholt Pound, found my way to this chalk cutting, and then just lie down with my back against the chalk and stared at the sky. And I felt a great sense of completeness and contentness in doing this. As I say, I don't know why. I don't know why I was drawn there, and I can't really offer any explanation, but drawn I was. And from that point onwards, my obsession with being in the chalk grew and grew and grew. I think now as an adult, looking at the scenery in general, there is something about the what I would call landscape configurations, the shapes, the smooth rounded hills, the escarpments, the steep parts that form the I suppose the most famous aspects of the downs, and then the dip slopes, the gentle slope that moves from the escarpment away into the vale. The kind of plants that grow there, the beech stands, the kind of woodland flora and fauna, the way the land is farmed, or some parts of it are left wild. All of these things create a particular kind of network of imagery that I find very, very compelling, very affecting. They change my emotional state. And this change in my emotional state, this affect, is something that is really, really difficult to articulate, but is nevertheless very powerful. I feel it very strongly. And I feel it strongly enough to A, want to be in it, and B, for it to motivate a lot of what I do compositionally and within painting. So it's a bit of a mystery, and part of writing this book is trying to get to the bottom of what that mystery is. I most likely won't, because I think affect is very difficult to pin down to anything other than Do you feel it strongly? Do you not feel it strongly? Is it pleasant? Is it not pleasant? Beyond that, you get into all sorts of ground, or dodgy ground, I suppose. And it's all highly subjective, of course. But nevertheless, it is a strong factor in the work that I make, and the themes of the chalk run through virtually everything in a structural capacity, if nothing else. So I was wondering if other people too have strong connections to very particular kinds of landscapes. It could be particular kinds of places. I mean, I have strong relationships with places, but those places are also generically related to particular kinds of landscape on the whole. I would say one thing that drives me particularly with the chalk, and also similar features in other landscapes, is to do with horizon lines. It's to do with that point where the sky meets the land in the distance, particularly when it's involved with ridges and hills, and even more particularly when there are trees or stands of trees distantly sitting on those horizon lines. I'm drawn to them. I sense a particular spatial aspect about them that again resonates with me in a very, very strong and potent way. Those configurations are fundamental, I would say, to a lot of the thinking that goes into the work that I make, either directly or indirectly. Anyway, enough about that for now. I will return to this subject and about particular landscapes. But I just wanted to put on the table that chalk is for me a particular landscape that I love, and a particular landscape that sits behind a lot of the work that I make. Anyway, that's for now, and more later. In the meantime, keep safe and goodbye.